have some awesome presenters and the team that is here from TRC to share with you really a lot about their company and how you can get connected. Maria Moon is going to be our main presenter today with TRC. She is going to be facilitating this session. If you have questions while she is speaking, we would recommend that you put them in the chat. I will be managing those and then kind of referring them to Maria as needed. They have a really great presentation for you today, along with some panelists to share with you a little bit about their company and what they're working on. So we're really excited to hear that. All right, I think those are all the things for me. Maria, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yes, thanks so much, Caitlin. Hi, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for your time this afternoon. We are very excited to meet you all today virtually. And my name is Maria Moon. I'm a program manager for TRC's internship program. I'm sitting in Austin, Texas. Today, I'm joining with Parker Mix, our president of the infrastructure sector from Houston, Texas. Agatha Kim, senior civil environmental engineer from San Francisco, California. Tony Dwalacek, senior project manager from environmental sector, Houston, Texas. And Evelyn Dean, our senior program design analyst from our power sector, Melville, New York. And lastly but not the least, Josh Hammonds, our electrical engineer out of power sector from Houston as well. So today we have a lot of exciting items to cover. First, we will do a high-level overview of our company, and then we will dive into how we are currently structured and the types of services that we offer, and talk about our summer internship program. And then our highlight part, our presenters from our organization to share about their academic journey to career path. You know, a couple of them are actually U of Houston's alumni. So it's always so nice to meet people and learn something from them, right? So I believe it'll be a very meaningful, yet a very fun event for all of us. Before we start our presentation, I'd like to introduce Parker Mix to you all. Parker is our infrastructure president sitting in Houston, Texas, and who are very, very excited to meet you all today. So Parker?
Thanks so much, Maria. Thank you all for making time to spend a little bit of time with us. We're really excited to get to know you and to hopefully help you get to know TRC in a bigger way. And for this really to be the start of a conversation or a continuation, if we've spoken with you before, to get to know each other better. You know, I am fairly new to TRC, which you'll find in more detail when I go through infrastructure later in the presentation. But I came to TRC really because of how exciting I think the firm is and the breadth of what we do across a very broad set of power, environmental infrastructure, and other spaces, and the digital focus that we've started to really build and drive, and how do we take technology and help deliver better for our clients, really move the industry forward. And frankly, in the culture that we're building and that we've built. I think you'll see across the folks that are presenting today, really diversity of background in the way that we were trained and the way we think and what we do and how the career path can navigate through TRC. So I'm just really thankful to have the opportunity to get to know you guys as a native Houstonian. Even more excited that we're talking to folks going to school in my hometown, and I've recruited at U of H for some time, you know, at TRC and before, and certainly excited to spend time with y'all. So look forward to it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Parker. So now let me begin with our company intro, and Parker, of course, will chime in along my presentation to be more fruitful, as he could give you more insightful info in terms of how our TRC has grown and what the company is focusing on now and the future from the leader's point of view. Okay. All right, so TRC is a professional engineering service firm that is highly technical and was established back in 1960s. We are delivering engineering and science and technology to deliver our needs for clients through management consulting engineering, and technology-oriented services. So today we have a power, environmental, oil and gas, and infrastructure markets with more than 5,000 employees across our network. So at TRC, our mission and vision statements are our guide and the foundation for all we do, both internally and externally. And I believe one of the greatest things about TRC is that our company's vision easily aligns with many people's personal value of making the earth a better place. Our vision statement, we will solve the challenges of making the earth a better place to live, community by community and project by project. So this is something that TRC and our employees are committed to, and you will see all the decision-making process and system process all moving into this vision statement. And we're really proud of ourselves about understanding clients' goals and really embracing them as our own. So TRC works to apply creativity, experience to the solutions that we deliver to our clients. And in conjunction with the mission and vision, TRC also has a set of values that define us as a company. TRC's core values are safety. Safety is our paramount goal. Quality, integrity, creativity, accountability, and of course, passion and teamwork. While all of our core values here are vital to our success, the past 2 years, we have been really focusing on safety and quality and reviewing all our procedures surrounding those values. So now we talked a little about our philosophy. Let's talk about how TRC got to where it is today. So in the late 1960s, a small group of environmental quality and waste management employees from Travelers Weather Research Center, based in Windsor, Connecticut, decided to venture out on their own and form the Research Corporation of New England, TRC. That's how we got our name. We did a lot of work with air quality. As you can see, our timeline progresses. We were the vanguard of the environmental movement back in the 70s. We've been continuously working with EPA, and throughout the years, we've expanded into infrastructure and renewable energy efficiency in 2000. In 2010, we really continued to grow in oil and gas industry and pipeline services. So throughout the decades, as indicated in this timeline, TRC has been a leader in setting industry standards and establishing innovative programs. So it sure is a pretty exciting place to be with a rapid growth. So in terms of our physical offices, we've grown to over 5,500 employees across 145 offices, including Canada, the UK, and China. And among these various locations nationwide, our headquarters is located in Lowell, Massachusetts. Lowell is about 26 miles northwest of Boston. That's where our CEO, Chris Vinci, is based out of. So the company has grown into an integrated provider of diversified services to the environmental, energy, and infrastructure markets, and we are operated by 4 big chunks of sectors. So the environmental sector helps permitting and developing major new construction and reconstruction projects that ranges from $100 to $1 billion of budgeted projects, ensuring compliance for continuing operations. And power is our largest sector among these 4. We engineer facilities to help deliver safe and reliable energy. And our infrastructure sector provides engineering and construction support services to help communities and business plan and implement improvements necessary to support their growth, from designing to construction to management and to delivering our service in road, bridges, water, dams, mitigation projects, and transit and rails, and growing spaces like airports, schools, and hospitals. And lastly, but not the least, we have a sector called digital. So digital solutions team who are dedicating to digitizing, like automation, process, using the latest communication technology and protocols to deliver reliable yet cost-effective solutions. So our 4 sectors are, of course, supported by corporate services, which includes IT, HR, marketing, and sales, and legal, and so on. So we will now take some time to discuss our sectors and the work that is done by each sector. Power. So this slide shows some of the work that we do as a part of Power. It's definitely not all inclusive, but at least to give you some of the ideas of the work that we are exposed to do. Our solutions ensure efficient startups, smooth execution, and quality results for transmission, distribution, substations, energy storage, microgrids, and telecommunications. In the environmental sector, the second largest sector among the four, we do a lot of remediation work as well as managing air quality, industrial hygiene, anything deal with indoors, and groundwater modeling, stormwater designing and management, provide planning, permitting, and licensing for development projects for power, oil and gas, transportation, and other industries. And infrastructure provides a full service like the other sectors from designing to delivery. They do a lot of work with Department of Transportation, DOT, a lot of QA/QC management and inspecting full construction management projects. We do a lot of material inspection, construction inspections, civil engineering design, utilities layout and design and land surveying. And Parker Mix, our president, is the lead of this infrastructure sector, and he will share more later about what infrastructure team does. And we also are into pipeline services. We partner with our clients to construct or expand pipeline systems, compressor and pump stations, terminals, underground and surface storage, and in-field gathering and production facilities. Lastly, but not the least, our digital solutions sector is a fairly new sector. Digital team focus is about doing work more efficiently with automation in lieu of doing it analog way by operating in real-time 24/7 digitization. So digital team do a lot of work with utilities as utility technology advances and as the amount of data accumulation increases for utilities, right? So having data integration, visualizing them, and navigating them in real-time base is vital, which will also bring consistency in process, consistent in delivery, and data security. So not only we serve our external clients, our digital team also serves internal clients as well, like HR team or our account payable team, to make sure things, run more efficiently and productive by making our process more cutting edge, standard. So in a nutshell, TRC joins data and technology with our trusted services to address business needs and challenges. So TRC prides ourselves in our relationships, and our product is our people. We are not a manufacturing company, so our people are our greatest assets. So here you will see some of the partnerships that we've had over the last 10 plus years. So now let's talk about culture part. So developing especially diverse and inclusive culture is so important for TRC. So one of the ways that we demonstrate that with our people is through with various committees. So TRC has a people committee to provide HR and operating leaders with priorities and inputs from a generational point of view on the key elements such as workplace, benefits, development, and culture that make TRC a really great place to work. And the people committee members are nominated by members of the leadership team every 12 months. It rotates, and we also ensure we have a comparative mix of gender, ethnicity, and generations to represent all of TRC. And grow. Also, we have Women's Network. So TRC started a Women's Network less than 2 years ago. I'm a member of Grow committee as well. So it has grown now over 18 chapters with 700 plus members nationwide. We are recently created a logo and tagline for the Women's Network. It's seen here. So GROW stands for Gaining Rewarding Opportunities for Women. So GROW is open to all TRC employees regardless of gender. Even our interns could join for GROW to be part of this important initiative and leave their remark. So as you can see, there's a big growth in terms of female leadership in TRC. So this is something that TRC is very proud of, and we are certainly continuously to develop. And diversity and inclusion committees also playing a huge part of our organization. So building a workplace, where talents coming from all race, culture, ethnicity background, gender, sexual orientation are equally valued here in TRC. So both our CEO, as you see here, CEO Chris Vinci and Laura Remy, our CPO, are in this committee to really strive and accelerate to have more diverse workforce within our company, as well as how we can serve our diverse community better as a company. So we actually had a blind selection process of D&I committee members and selected 7 national level D&I members, as you're seeing on this photo here. They're all working very hard to bring more diversity and inclusion initiatives for the company. And we are also in the process of developing regionals. They are national level, so regional D&I committee like GROW, because TRC is such a big company, so we want to hear everyone's voice, right? So this is in the process of developing regional chapters at the moment. And giving back culture is very important as well for TRC. So we are dedicated to supporting the communities in which we live and work. And throughout the year, TRC offices across the country give back with their time, their professional skills, their passion, and their hearts to help our community here. So you see on the photo, they all look very happy, right? It's very exciting to help somebody and make a better place. So we went over our company and our culture. Now let's talk about our internship program. So TRC's internships program is about 12 weeks program. Summer program is going to be very robust with a lot of activities. And however, the fundamental thing would be learning and growing plus networking. FYI, we are going to have about 200 interns for next summer. Just think about, working with 200 coworkers who are like you at a similar environment. It's pretty exciting, right? So our program is really about you to learn about real work, to create connections at, corporate level and sector level. So our interns will learn about work, culture, and even clients and systems and what it really takes to run a business. So this is some of the program contents. So we will have a mentor program. Of course, these 200 interns each of them will have a mentor who is approachable and who is willing to help you and answer any questions that you might have. And interns interviews, what it means is interns to interview 3 to 4 individuals within their business or functions. It could be your peers, senior contributors, or even leaders. And we've been hearing great feedback about this exercise from our past interns. And we encourage our interns to participate in our ongoing programs, such as GROW, like Women's Network. And there will be many internal networking group activities, such as lunch and learns, like weekly webinars, learning about, career development, marketing perspective, sustainability, and the other sectors and what they're working on and so on. And then we also have a roundtable discussion with early in career employees across all businesses and functions. Just, informally ask questions and then, answer the questions and stuff like that. And the Yammer online group for interns, exclusively just for interns. So it's like a Facebook kind, but in company setting format. And we do have a team projects for interns. So you guys can work together on a designated project and present towards the end. And we will award a TRC certificate at the end of the intern program. So our internship has a potential to transitioning into a full-time role upon graduation. So that's definitely an exciting thing. So I hope you could be our next interns and learn all these skills, having the opportunity of testing those skills and learn about how you operate in business world and different parts of what we do, whether it is in field activities or science, technology, or even back office. We have a place for everybody. So I'm sure you will find it beneficial, but most importantly, you will have a rewarding and fun experience. Lastly, but not the least, our interns can also participate in this referral bonus program. So the idea is intern to referring another intern. It could be your friend or your dorm buddy, you know? So there's no limit and you get $100 per person. So which is great. And then the intern openings are posted via Cougar's page right now at U of Houston's job board. Oh, and we are already getting so many applications from U of Houston, so thank you. If you haven't applied yet, don't wait, apply now. Once you're in the system, our recruiter will review and contact for a pre-screening, like phone interview, if your background and experience align with our needs. And we hope to get many interns from U of Houston and you to become potentially our full-time upon graduation. So we have chances to give you and train you all the skills and what's like, you know, in real life. And you will certainly have a chance to make a decision whether this is really the right place for you after your internship with us. So this was overall introduction for our company. And now I will turn over to our presenters to have them share about their journey and experience with you all. So let's start with Parker Mix. Parker is our infrastructure sector president out of Houston. So Parker?
Great. Thanks so much, Maria. And as you can see, there's a lot going on in TRC on the people front as well that I'm quite excited about personally. I'm so glad to follow up with any and all topics, whether it be a diversity and inclusion network, the GROW network, or any others. So a bit about me. So I do lead our infrastructure group globally. We're about 1,000 personnel across the country, including an office in Shanghai, China. We do really a full service to our clients across highway, roadway, bridge, airports, rail, light rail, and water wastewater treatment, and emerging areas like coastal flood resiliency, and take those trades as much as we can to other sectors in collaboration with our environmental team and our power team as well. And our China office is actually our structural steel and concrete prefabricated source inspection group is based there in part. And they do source inspection in fab yards, shipyards, and any other place where steel or concrete is being fabricated domestically and on 5 continents around the world. So I've been in the industry about 15 years formally, about 18 years, including internships, and was with McKinsey for over 13 years before finding TRC. And for many of you, this may be one of your first introductions to our firm, which I found quite interesting when I learned of TRC, a 6,000 person firm that I hadn't heard a whole lot about. But again, came to TRC because I was so excited about the breadth of what we do, the impact we have on the communities that we serve, and the opportunities, frankly, to have a real long-term career path, but also navigate between such a diverse set of things across the end markets we serve and the disciplines that we serve. I am a double E by background, so in infrastructure, that's a less common trait, although I am quite proud we've built a double E practice serving our water wastewater treatment plants and other parts where double E is needed. I am a native Houstonian. Conroe, I still count. Born in Houston, but was raised about an hour north. Longtime Houston sports fan, and definitely have an eye on the Astros game, for instance, that's going on now. And a fun fact about me, I did play college football on one of the worst teams in history at Columbia, which if I'm playing corner for your football team, you're probably not very, very good. But I do want to give a little bit of color to what we do in infrastructure. So a few projects just to bring to life what we do across design, construction management, inspection, and geotech. So Pennsylvania is a fairly large market for us. The PennDOT P3 Rapid Bridge Replacement Program. So public-private partnerships is what the P3 stands for, if you're not familiar with it. And a pretty interesting program that the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation put in place to basically replace 500 bridges across the state over a course of 3 years or so. And TRC was the lead QA/QC quality control, design, finalization, and inspection firm with our design practice, our construction, engineering, and inspection team, and our construction management team, along with support from our geotechnical engineering team and collaboration with our environmental group to basically help go and assess, determine safety and security of the design and the final bridge as constructed. And this program, quite large, about $1 billion in spend, quite successful in replacing those bridges with an average of only 3 weeks per bridge, which is pretty amazing. And it's an impact we need in more states across the country. Texas, luckily, is on the better end of the deficient bridge scale. You guys may have seen some of the unfortunate tragedies with bridges collapsing and all the news around bridge deficiencies across the country. So this was a great program for us to be involved in. I'm quite proud of the work and excited to do many more structural design jobs where we can help. Then to the next slide, Maria, please. So the Oroville Dam, this is a project out west in California. The Oroville Dam, I believe, is still the tallest dam in the U.S. And unfortunately, in 2017, under severe rain and flooding, the main spillway collapsed. And a legacy TRC firm was first on the scene with the Department of Water Resources in California to assess the situation and led the construction management of the rebuild of that spillway. A massive structure, again, about a $900 million project where our primary role was construction management in this case, driving CM in total for the spillway. The spillway is up and operating now. Commissioning occurred last year. Quite impressive, exciting project. And again, you've probably seen, unfortunately, a lot of the news around different parts of the country with flooding, with dam maintenance needs, dam failures, and that's an area, again, we are quite happy and excited to support our communities and engage in the water resources front, whether it's geotechnical assessment of dams, whether it's redesign of dams or dam components, flood control to help ease pressure on dams during flooding, and then of course construction management and inspection where there is maintenance work or a modification, including some work locally. For instance, Lake Houston Dam is going on. That's a project that we are following. To go to the last slide for me, Maria. And then water, wastewater. So in Texas, the bulk of what we do in the state is city municipal support, and water, wastewater is a big part of that. So we have about 50 staff in Austin and Dallas doing civil engineering. It's a practice that serves about 25 to 30 cities and municipalities across the central and northern part of the state and growing in the Houston region. And some of the example projects that we have done in the state are exhibited here. Some really big wastewater treatment plant expansions. It's a big need across the country, really, when we look at our water systems. In Houston, for instance, there's about a $2 billion capital improvement plan that's been passed to help reconstruct major components of the city of Houston water wastewater system that we certainly are looking and hoping to bring our expertise to detention ponds, to groundwater treatment plants, and broader water system and water studies that does eventually carve into the coastal flooding realm. So we're also, looking certainly to take our expertise in dam, levee, and flood management from out west in California and some of the city and town flood mitigation and controls work that we've done to the Gulf Coast and Hurricane Harvey flood control and flood mitigation projects that are kicking off and have started, which is a tremendous opportunity to help, again, impact the community. I know we all just, went through another flood event with the beta that just came through. And these are all things that really make me proud to work at TRC, are working with great people and a culture of collaboration, not just within our sectors, but across, to help accomplish our clients' goals in communities. And a lot of what we do is supporting the public sector, supporting the states, the cities, and the local governments to make our water systems better, to make our transportation better, to make our cities better. So hope that was helpful in what we do in infrastructure. And again, would love to follow up through LinkedIn or otherwise. I realize I forgot to include my contact details, but certainly can find me on LinkedIn and would love to connect and chat further.
Hello, I'm Agatha Kim. I'm a senior engineer for TRC's Environmental Construction and Remediation Group in the San Francisco office. These are a couple pictures of things that I've done in the past. Next slide. So I started my career, I went to Cal Poly SLO in San Luis Obispo, which is on the coast about halfway between San Francisco and Los Angeles. After I graduated, I got my bachelor's degree in environmental engineering. And after I graduated, I spent a couple years doing environmental health and safety regulatory compliance. and in Southern California, and also did civil engineering and design for about 4 years, focusing on construction plans for really big houses, shopping centers, schools, and parks. And then after that, I went into environmental consulting, focusing on subsurface investigation and remediation, also in Southern California and a little bit in Northern California as well. Mostly worked on gas stations, dry cleaning facilities, and oil refineries. After about 10 years of that, I moved into construction. I worked on a major heavy civil construction project, a bridge down in Southern California, and did the environmental compliance. Also worked on a couple other things while I was there. Since I have my PE license in civil engineering, I also helped out with some of the grading, drainage, and utilities placement for the bridge. And then a couple years ago, I moved back up to San Francisco, and I started working for TRC just last year. So I've been here for a year and a half and been working in environmental and civil stuff. My main project is the Presidio, which I'll talk about on the next slide. So the picture, let's see, right by the title is an oil refinery. I think they look prettier at night. So I picked a picture where it's at night, shows all the lights. You can't see much of the smoke or anything coming out of the stacks. So while I worked on a refinery, I did a lot of groundwater treatment systems, pump and treat, air sparge, slow vapor extraction, cleaning up basically dirty dirt and dirty water. It was also kind of a recovery. So, you know, all the tanks that they have on the refineries, some of them do leak. And so it leaks into the groundwater, and we would skim the top of the groundwater and, you know, try to recover that for them. And it becomes, they call it free product. It's not really free, but it's just, you know, getting back what they lost. The picture right below it is a picture of an auditorium I helped build. It's in Southern California. It's for a school. I laid out the grading and drainage plans for that building and also for the master drainage plan for the whole school. On the top right is a picture of the Presidio. That's the project that I'm working on right now. And there Caltrans built that freeway that you see there, that really new looking road going over this landscaped area. So what we're doing right now is going in and cleaning up all the stuff that Caltrans left behind. It's a national park, so we're trying to make it look better. We're working with landscape architects and the Presidio Trust to make it more of a park, make it, you know, bring it back to how beautiful it used to be. The project on the bottom right is a picture from the Potrero Power Generating Plant, where I'm working as an engineer on the demolition and rehabilitation of the buildings and the structures. It's a pretty cool project. It's you know, it has a stack and a turbine structure and a bunch of really cool red brick buildings. And so what we're doing is we're going to demo, take out the stuff it doesn't need, and eventually a developer is going to come in and hopefully develop it into, you know, a shopping center / park / condominiums kind of deal. And it should be really cool to just kind of walk around and see that develop. It's just the very beginning stages. So we're working on the permitting and the demolition right now. And on the bottom left is a picture in progress of the new Gerald Desmond Bridge in Long Beach. I was the environmental compliance manager for that project. Out of the whole crew company of like 400 people, I was the only environmental person. So it was a lot of management of stuff, everything with air, water, soil, hazardous waste. Mostly I took care of groundwater issues. It was, you know, obviously right next to the bay. It's bridge in Long Beach. So, but we worked with the Port of Long Beach and their environmental department. This is when I was working for Shimmick Construction. And that's a picture from about 550 feet up on the tower. And that was probably where I learned how to gain my confidence. Construction's a really tough job for a woman to be in. And when you're talking to like 300 guys who are pretty tough, you have to really find your voice. So that's where I think I grew the most. Being an engineer isn't just about knowing math and science, it's also being able to communicate your ideas to people. So if if engineering is something you want, it's not just knowing you have all the answers, it's being able to tell people what the answers are. So I highly recommend, making sure you get those communication skills down, verbal, presentations. I'm still working on it, obviously, and written. So, but yeah, all of the experiences I've had have helped me grow as an engineer and helped me grow as a person. So if you guys ever have any questions, you can reach me on LinkedIn or email. Obviously, I love bridges. I think they're beautiful structures, and I love working on them. And I also like that they bridge. You can explore new places just by crossing a bridge. You can meet new people. There's so many things I love about bridges that I could talk on and on about it, but that's for another time. I'll pass it over to Tony.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us. My name is Tony Dorosic. I'm a professional geoscientist here in the state of Texas, and I've been with TRC for almost 5 years. And I've got about 30 years experience in the industry. And here at TRC, I do about 80% technical work, and then I do about 20% business development. And one thing I really like about TRC is they'll help you and let you kind of pick your career path. If you want to stay on a purely technical, you can, or if you want to do business development, you can, or a combination of both, like what I'm doing. They'll let you do that. And the business development side of it is doing proposals, talking to your clients, meeting with them, seeing what their needs are, and to help them with their goals and business objectives to help make this place a better place that we live in and everything. So how did I get here to TRC with this? Well, I started out at the University of Houston last millennium, a long time ago, and I was kind of a little bit different student. While I was going to school, I was working. I decided that I didn't want to have any student debt or anything, so I worked at the USGS while I was going to the U of H. And then in my petroleum geology class, professor walked in one day and the oil field kind of fell out, and I was like, what am I doing here? What is this? So I spent 4 years as a professional minor league baseball umpire, traveling the country up in Montana, Utah, on the East Coast. Met a lot of interesting people, saw a lot of ball players in the minor leagues that got to go to the big leagues. And so that was fun and interesting, but I was just missing my education and missing being back here in Texas. So I came back and I went back to U of H and started working with an environmental consulting firm called Harding Lawson at that time. And it really wasn't an intern program, but they were working with me, letting me go to school and doing environmental work. And at that time, I was what you kind of called a field technician. I was doing a lot of groundwater sampling, soil sampling for them. But it was really giving me an idea of how the environmental consulting worked, and able to finish my time at school. And so after that, I moved from Harding Lawson to a company called Dow Environmental, where we worked strictly for Dow Chemical Company. And then through acquisitions, I didn't jump around to a lot of companies, but through acquisitions, Dow Environmental became URS, and then URS became AECOM. And while I was at AECOM went from about 40,000 people to almost 90,000, and that was getting to be a little bit too big for me. And then I found TRC, which really impressed me with about the 5,000 people, and really caring about the people that you work with, and not just another number at a bigger company and stuff. So I really liked that. And they were, like I mentioned in the beginning, they were letting me able to do my career path with the 80% technical and the 20% business development. Okay, next slide, please. And so here's some pictures of some projects and stuff, and I'm going to go through them. And so right now, a lot of my time right now is I'm the current program manager for the NRG, which is a power company, and their CCR work program, which is their coal combustion residue program. And so we're managing and making sure that their waste from generating electricity is being handled and disposed of properly. That is a really big thing right now in the whole United States with the with coal being used to help generate the power plants and all that type of stuff. And so some of these pictures, this top left one here, this is a project out in West Texas where we have some karst geology, which is a lot different than the Gulf Coast down here, which is really interesting. So I threw that in there. And this side over here, it was an old gas processing plant, and they had a spill. And when you're trying to chase a plume through these different cracks and stuff in here, it gets really hard to do. So I threw that one in there, and you don't have the pancake geology like you do here on the Gulf Coast, where you have a clay, a silt, a clay, a sand. So this makes it really interesting, and some of the things you learn in your geology classes will help you with this, and it's really interesting. The next picture over here of these guys in this white suit, this is called a geoprobe rig, and these guys are pushing this in the ground, collecting soil samples, and putting in some smaller monitoring wells to see what's in the groundwater here. And these this is a little bit smaller rig, and it's used for tighter places. And so this is some of the stuff that we get to work with on the environmental side of TRC here. And so you're collecting soil samples, putting them in jars, collecting your groundwater samples, putting them in jars, and sending them to the lab. And you're basically seeing what's there. Is it contaminated or not? And what remediation type projects can go from this, whether you need to clean up the groundwater or just the soil. The next picture over, this is from a phase 1 audit that I did. And you can see here that these are the type of things facilities you'll go to, and you'll see that they have the proper containment here for the drums. The drums are labeled. The different types of drums are separated like they're supposed to be. And so that's the kind of things you need to look for. And as you go through your career, you learn to see these and train your eye to see these different situations to help you do this. This one here with the 2 smokestacks, that's a power plant there, and this is a big landfill here that's been covered up and stuff. So we do the stuff like that too. Go to these power plants, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They have groundwater monitoring programs where groundwater samples are collected. You look at the data, analyze it to make sure there's no releases or anything like that. The picture below it is another type of drill rig. This is a bit bigger one than the geoprobe and the one above it. This one will take you a bigger sample, put you in bigger monitoring wells for the groundwater. And it actually will go a lot deeper than the geoprobe. The geoprobe is a lot cheaper and quicker, and that's mainly for just quick investigations. But the one with the guys in the brown suits and the drums, that's for a lot bigger projects and like I said, bigger monitoring wells. And the picture over here to the other side, this is a pipeline that leaked. It leaked in the middle of a farmer's cornfield. Of course, the corn's not growing right now, but we had to go in there and dig all this up and get it all cleaned up. And so on this project, you're not only dealing with the company here, you're dealing with landowners, you're dealing with attorneys, you're dealing with the state, with the railroad commission, and things like that. So there's a lot involved in doing something like this. It's just not going in there and digging up a little soil. A lot of people involved in there. A couple other projects I'd like to mention about some due diligence projects, and this is kind of cool. I did some due diligence work at Kelly Air Force Base with one of these geoprobe rigs right along the runways. And what's interesting about this is we had jet fighters, we had those big cargo planes that would come and land. We'd had to stop and wait for them to come by. So that was kind of neat being, right up next on the runway next to those airplanes. If you're familiar with phase 1 work, that's for doing transactions. People want to go buy some property. They look at property to see what's going on there. I actually did a phase 1 at the Astrodome here in Houston, and I got to walk around on the roof at the Astrodome and to all the locker rooms and everything. And that was a really an interesting type project too. And then I have the Sherwin aluminum facility on here. This was an alumina plant that they made. They took the bauxite and turned it into aluminum so they can make aluminum. And what was interesting about this is they had stockpiled alumina over there for years and years after World War II in case another war broke out, so they can make aluminum for the airplanes and stuff. A couple other things that I do too would do litigation projects. And this, if you like working with lawyers or attorneys or like to be an expert witness on groundwater or soil or contamination and stuff, there's litigation projects involved with this too. And one of the last things I'd like to bring up is I'm doing some nurdle remediation, and nurdles are those little bitty plastic pellets that you see at the beach. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but they're used to make plastic everywhere. And they get out in the environment, and they get in the wetlands areas, or they get in the sediments near the rivers, creeks, and on the near the ocean and stuff. And they're really, really hard to clean up. And we're really working hard to get that cleaned up. And there's really not a set remediation path for that right now, but we're working to try and do that to make it a better place for these NERDL impacted areas. Next slide, please. So if you have any questions on the environmental side there about the remediation or anything like that, or like litigation projects or something, please give me a contact. Here's my contact information, and I'd be glad to answer them for you. Thank you so much.
Right. Hi, everyone. My name is Evelyn Dean, and I currently hold the position of Senior Program Design Analyst for the Electric Utility PSCG Long Island, and I am in part of the power sector. My career trajectory is not anything that I could have ever predicted, so I'll start at the beginning. The next slide, please. I studied English literature at Stony Brook University, and yes, I did say that I work in the power sector, so you'll find out how those two correlate, because I never thought they would. I did choose English literature because I've always enjoyed reading, writing, and anything that really involves communicating ideas or just communication in general. I thought that I'd go into teaching or journalism, but luckily I discovered an opportunity in the energy sector, and my journey really took off from there. I was hired by Lockheed Martin as a field engineer for one of their electric utility programs. I was performing inspections for existing equipment and also inspections for equipment that has been installed. And prior to this, I did not have any experience in the energy sector. So I had a great deal to learn, from lighting watts to HVAC efficiencies and the overall utility customer experience. So I took everything that I was able to learn in the field, and I found a natural fit for me on the program design team, on the program design side of the energy efficiency programs. I still hold the program design role now with TRC. I do work with a lot of engineers, and I'm sure there's a lot of engineers here and of course on the presentation today. And I always like to joke that I have the other ENG degree, because sometimes, it's just a natural fit that way. We are all able to help each other and collaborate in so many different ways, which is awesome. And a lot of people probably don't realize that they have so many other skills hidden underneath it all. But when you work with a great group of people, all of that comes out. And that's what you'll get if you work here with TRC. Program design itself consists of building customer-facing rebate applications, internal audit tools, new technology research, my specialty, proposal writing and participation in industry associations. We write a lot of white papers and abstracts, and we have a very robust database that we have to manage as well. So on this slide, and thank you so much, Maria, here are some of the special projects that I have worked on. I have helped build an online application portal for our residential appliances program. Historically, residential customers participated in the program through a paper-based application, which that's not really what everybody wants nowadays. Everybody wants something fast, and they want to get their rebates even faster. So we took that approach and made a virtual solution. The virtual participation mechanism certainly has come in handy in light of COVID. Customers can now submit applications from the comfort of their own home. I also develop and maintain Excel-based applications and audit tools for other residential programs and commercial programs. The applications include so many different energy savings measures that can be found in our portfolio, such as residential and commercial HVAC equipment. We do a lot of lighting retrofits, and what we're super, super excited about this year, beneficial electrification equipment. If this is a new term to you, the way that we have defined beneficial electrification is replacing a traditionally fossil fuel powered equipment with an electrified end use. So we've rolled out electrified lawn equipment, vehicles like golf carts and forklifts. Of course, you have your electric vehicles too, your Priuses and other makes and models as well. But we also introduced pool equipment, and we've redefined the way that we claim savings on measures like heat pumps. Traditionally, heat pumps, we claimed cooling kWh savings, but now because New York State has such aggressive greenhouse gas reduction goals, we needed to rethink that how we were screening our heat pumps and really start to promote them as a heating solution, a clean heating solution. And we had to also work to develop a fuel neutral savings calculation that would result in claiming MMBTUs. So one thing that I just wanted to stop and say here is before I joined the energy team, I hardly ever used Excel, and now I use Excel about 75% of my day. Because of the opportunities that I was given and I'm still given with TRC, I've learned how to code and develop savings formulas, things that if I looked back 5 years ago, I never ever would have thought that I would know how to do or ever would have had the chance to do. So I think TRC provides so many comprehensive tools, trainings, and educational opportunities. And a lot of companies don't provide these. And I think that's a huge, huge point, and something that we're grateful for when we joined the TRC team. One other project that I'd like to highlight, and it's actually on the left side of the screen, and this great opportunity allowed me to combine all of my skills, is in August, AESP, which is the Association of Energy Service Professionals. If you aren't a member and you're interested in the energy sector, it's a great, great organization to be a part of. And they do have a lot of opportunities for students as well. In their August monthly magazine, a few of my coworkers and I collaborated on an article called Advancing Beneficial Electrification with Heat Pumps. And I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with heat pumps, but it's pretty much like an air conditioner that runs in reverse. And in the Northeast, as I mentioned, we have such aggressive carbon reduction goals, and a solution that we are promoting to our participants are heat pumps. So if customers replace their fossil fuel powered heating systems with these clean energy solutions, that will aid in reducing carbon emissions, which is what we want. We want to help our state and help our governor make his goal. The article discusses our approach to heat pump technologies as that clean energy solution, and also as a beneficial electrification measure for an all-electric utility. So it's very, very interesting if you'd like to check that out. And as I conclude, there are 2 points that I would just like to leave you with. The first point is that TRC is a great company that values its employees. You may have heard that opportunities are what you make of them. With TRC, you're given so many opportunities, and if you take them, you will succeed and you can continue to grow. The second point is, if you think you can't achieve something, think again. As I had mentioned earlier, I came into this industry with zero experience, and there have been so many times where I sat at my desk thinking, oh my gosh, can I really write this article? Should I be the one developing this code and, putting these rebate applications together? And the answer is yes. You might need some help along the way. We all do. But don't shy away from chances and opportunities that will result in success. And it's a scientific fact. We are an awesome team, so we'd be happy to have you, and you'd be happy to join us as well. So I will turn it over to Josh.
Hello, everyone. I'm Josh Hammonds, electrical engineer 1 with TRC Companies. I've actually only been with TRC for 9 months. I just graduated from the University of Houston. I left Colon College of Engineering for electrical engineering degree just last fall. So I'm not that far removed from where you're at now. But I am with the power group. But I've been primarily worked so far in the oil and gas kind of midstreams. If you go to my next slide. I'll talk briefly about my career path. I didn't start off in college, actually. I joined the Navy to sort of avoid college. I did 10 years. I served 10 years with the U.S. Navy as a radar technician before finding myself taking night classes in my last 3 years at Florida State College in Jacksonville. I got my associates there, just general studies, and then moved back home, used GI Bill, and went to the University of Houston, where obviously I just graduated. I did 2 internships actually with TRC while I was at University of Houston. So there were consecutive summers back to back here in the Houston office. And I got to work on projects immediately. I can summarize those in the next slide. Right there at the top, the INEOS Seminole Booster Pump Station, which you can see the 3D model right there in the bottom left picture. That's that was the model that was put together for that station. As an intern, I actually was able to design the area lighting for that station, obviously under supervision of a more experienced engineer. And I've had a great time working with these guys. Also on that project, even after I got hired, that project was just starting to wrap up. and I ended up taking care of the revised and issued electrical and instrumentation package in terms of as-built. So whatever changes were made during the construction, the client sends that back to us, wrapped, and then we capture all those and issue out a brand new set of drawings that reflect exactly what was built. So I did that immediately. That was the first thing I did after I got hired full time. I also ended up issuing the revised power study that went to that compressor station, or that booster pump station. Sorry. That includes load flow, that includes the short circuit studies, overcurrent protection device coordination, which you can see in the top photo, the small one there. That's an actual coordination map for the protective devices from that project. And I also issued the arc flash labels for that project. And then I went on to work on the energy transfer Bayou Bridge 24-inch pipeline. That had been going on for quite a long time. And finally wrapped up right after I got hired. And also did the as-built drawings for that one for electrical and instrumentation. And you can see in the bottom right photo, that's actually one of the mainline valves for that project. Most of those valves, as you can imagine, are quite large, and they're automated and use electric actuation in this case in order to open and close them from a distance. And then that's controlled by PLC primarily, which you can see in the top photo. That PLC set right there is not for that specific project. That's one that I'm working on at the moment, actually, for to add a cooler to a gas compressor station. And I'm still working my way through that one right now. And just this morning, I was drafting up an updated one line for a power study to do on that one. So overall, as the intern, you're going to be, I promise you'll be working on actual projects aside from the actual collaborative projects as interns. So you will be working immediately. There's no waiting around. There's no fluff work, nothing like that. If you have any questions related to anything in terms of internship or what the process is like or what it's like coming straight into, I just went through all of this. Feel free to contact me. Reach out to my email, my LinkedIn. I'd be happy to talk with you.
Okay, thanks everyone. And then this, we have it's almost one, but we would be happy to linger more. So if you have questions, it's your time now. So unmute yourself and please ask your questions, please.
Hi, Maria, it's Caitlin. There was just one question about sponsorship. So do you sponsor international students, or will you potentially in the future?
Well, at TRC, the answer is the short answer is yes. However, I want to be transparent, right? We cannot guarantee. It's all case by case, and I'm actually in charge of immigration for TRC employees, and I'm working a lot with our partners, to sponsor H-1B visas and green card for our top players. So it's really case by case. Yes. So hope I answered your question.
That was great.
Yep.
I see a few students that do have their hands up. So I'm just going to go in the order. Diego, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hi, how's it going? My name is Diego Ramirez. I had a few questions, but I guess I'll do them by priority. So my first question was about interns transitioning into full-time. Do you hire strictly out of your intern pool?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and the reason I asked for that is because I'll be graduating soon, but I'm very interested in working with TRC.
Yes, then have you applied? If not, please do so. And then please follow me and follow TRC through LinkedIn. So, all right?
Okay.
Yep. And any questions, everyone? LinkedIn is very useful tool, especially in this virtual world, right? So make sure, please follow TRC companies and then just search our names, like, for example, like Maria Moon, and then just connect, okay? And then we definitely, if we get any questions via message through LinkedIn, we'll definitely get back to you, okay? All right.
Maria, could we just maybe take two more questions?
Yes.
Diego, I know you said you had a few others. I just wanted to make sure other students have an opportunity to ask their questions. And I think you could definitely reach out to Maria on LinkedIn. Is that okay, Diego?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And then I had one last question for Mr. Parker, but it depends. Up to you.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
This one had to do with the dam in Cali. So I've worked with EPCs before, so I wanted to know your personal take on how you kept such an urgent matter quickly but safely at the same time.
That's a great question, and we should definitely follow up on off the line for sure. But the quick answer is working closely with our clients, working with our safety team. So we have a EVP of safety at the company, Mike Glenn, who's a tremendous team to help us assess all of our jobs, including the large ones that are tricky like that. But it all comes down to working with our clients, understanding the situation. But I'd love to dive into it deeper because it's safety every day is a first priority for us. So.
I think there was another question. I'm trying to see. Carlos, if you want to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question. And then Agu, you will be our last two people that have questions, and then we'll transition off from there.
Hi everyone, my name is Carlos. I'm a geologist PhD student at the University of Houston, and I'm about to graduate probably either spring or fall. I wanted to ask you guys about what the company requirements are for the ASBOG examination or for being a registered professional geologist or geologist in training for hiring.
Tony, can you answer to that question? Since
So,
you're
so you're asking what the company requirements are, or just the overall requirements for that from the state?
I guess just the company hires, I guess. Is it an expectation to be a geologist in training or a professional geologist? Because it's really hard, I feel like, with so many companies at this moment requiring you to be a professional geologist, but then you have to work for 5 years to become one.
Become one, right. So our expectation is we would like for you to become one. And here in Houston, we actually have a gentleman that I think it's once a month. He actually teaches a class on helping with the exams and to get you through that. So yes, it is an expectation, and yes, you would be working with other PGs in the office to help you reach that goal. So it's not a absolute requirement, but it is something that we'd like to see you achieve.
Okay, great, thank you. Because I'm taking my ASBOG examination this Friday, but that's for the GIT.
Right.
So
Okay.
It's just the fundamentals.
Right. Good
All
luck.
Right,
Good luck.
Thank you, Carlos. Lastly, Agu, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question, then we'll wrap things up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Odera Agu, and I'd like to ask, so I'm trying to apply as an intern. So can you give me a day-to-day of how an intern would be like in the company?
Sorry, sorry, can you repeat that question? Sorry, I couldn't hear you clearly.
Okay, so I'm trying to apply
Yes.
for an internship position.
Yes.
So
So,
can you give me a day-to-day on how an internship position would look like?
Oh, days to day. Yeah, well, actually, it's really case by case because we have so many different business practices. So you will need to work with your mentor and your hiring managers and supervisors. So they'll give you projects, and then universally we will have a weekly webinars, and we will have a lunch and learns. But day to day it'll be. I really cannot say because it'll be so different case by case. Yes, but
Yeah.
let me tell you, you will not do copy or making coffee, nothing like that. That's my rule of thumb as me being an intern program manager. That's big no-no to me. So you will learn a lot of things, and even several interns are doing billable work. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess the way that I would put it is we want our interns to be a part of our team, seeing the work they would be doing on a full-time basis. So you'll obviously be partnered up and shadowing and working with our full-time folks with experience. But absolutely, as Maria said, we want to get you into the real work. So
yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the answer.
My pleasure. Yeah. And here's so we have a good like intern community, like Yammer, exclusively just for interns. And so you guys can network and then just checking on how you are doing in in New York or how you're doing in California, what kind of project you're working on. So you guys have like this constant networking event too. So yeah, it'll be beneficial. Yeah.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Maria, and to the team. The last thing that I like to do is for our students that are still on the call, since we cannot really give a round of applause to our presenters today, can you go ahead and use the raise your hand tool and raise your hand and let them know that you appreciated them and we want to thank them for their time today. So Maria, Agatha, Tony, Parker, Joshua, Evelyn, thank you all so much. We appreciate it. And Maria, thank you so much for reaching out and for setting this up for our students. This was fantastic. Your panelists were excellent, being able to share their story and their history. And Parker, thank you so much for sharing the leadership perspective. I think this was just wonderful. So we will go ahead and we will end it there. Again, thank you all so much and have a wonderful rest of your day. Go Cougs.